Imagine a room full of wire cages, each one crammed with dogs of various sizes, their fur matted, their claws embedded in their pads, and their eyes swollen shut with infection. Some are too weak to even lift their heads. Their food is molded and full of maggots. Their water is stale and brown with dirt. Now imagine that the next room is exactly the same, and the next, and the next, and the next. It's a disturbing image, but also an unfortunate reality for thousands of dogs in the U.S. As an animal rights activist, volunteered at an animal shelter, and the owner of 5 animals of my own, I've done the research, and I've also seen some of the effects of unethical breeding firsthand. It leads to poor health and unsound temperaments. It needs to be stopped by doing the proper research and supporting only ethical resources of animals. Puppy mills often keep dozens, if not hundreds, of dogs in horrendous conditions, churning out puppy after puppy until the mothers either drop dead or else can no longer produce puppies to sell. A companion animal specialist for the Humane Society of the United States stated in an interview for the article called Puppy Mills Misery for Sale that the females are bred every 6 months, starting from their first heat cycle to about 4 or 5 years of age, when their capacity to reproduce drops and they are killed. And an article called The Dog Factory says that there's an estimated amount of 10,000 puppy mills in the United States. And backyard breeders work on a smaller scale, but they do just as much harm. They keep their dogs in the same deplorable conditions that puppy mills do, even though they have fewer dogs of fewer breeds. These are dogs that often don't get the proper socialization or health care that they need. They're typically kept in small wire cages that the parents may never get to leave in their lifetime. And this lack of socialization, as well as the poor genetics caused by this careless breeding, leads to nervous and even aggressive dogs that will never live normal lives. Oftentimes, they also get health issues that may take weeks or even months to appear, by which time it's the buyer's responsibility to pay the vet bills. Unfortunately, all too often, the buyer either can't or won't pay those bills, and these puppies end up dumped in shelters or on the side of the road, filling our rescues with these unsocialized, unhealthy dogs that are often hard to adopt out. Both of my dogs were bred unethically. Stella, my Chihuahua Pomeranian mix, was bought off of Craigslist by a family member, and she has a condition called luxating patella. This is a hereditary issue common in small breeds that causes her kneecaps to pop out of place. And unfortunately, there is no fix other than an expensive surgery that would cost thousands of dollars just to fix one knee. And instead of fixing it, it could make it much worse. Osiris, my German Shepherd mix, I got from a shelter and rescued him from the streets. And he has had health problems pretty much since the day I got him. He's had to go to the vet on several occasions, as well as spending the weekend at an emergency vet clinic. He's been on medications and special diets to help fix those problems. And these pill bottles are from all of the medicines he's had to be on just in the time I've had him. And to end this pointless suffering, we have to step up and take responsibility for supporting these businesses. Many people think they're doing a good thing by rescuing the sickly little puppy, staring out at them with pleading eyes. But for each one that's rescued, hundreds more suffer. So if you're thinking about adding a pet to your family, first consider rescuing. You may not get to avoid all the health or behavioral issues, but there are many in rescues that have few to no issues and could only be minor problems. Plus, if you go to a good rescue, they'll stay with you and help you with any problems that arise. In doing this, you will give a dog a second chance and give them the opportunity to have a happy life that they might not have otherwise. Even if you can't rescue, though, then be aware and look for the signs of puppy mills and backyard breeders. The article, Captive Canines in Puppy Mills, goes over some of the things you should look for. Breeders should not breed more than one type of dog. There should only be one breed. You should get to meet the breeder and talk to them extensively through phone calls, text messages, or emails. You should get to see where the animals are kept and get to meet the mother, if not the father, as well. A breeder should only have a number of animals that they can properly take care of without being overwhelmed. And they should also be breeding for health and temperament, not just looks. Dogs and cats both should come with the papers that prove that they've had the proper health test and they are in fact purebred animals. Also, keep these rules in mind for any species you may get. We talk mostly about dogs, but any species you can have as a pet has good and bad breeders. Their care and requirements vary, so do your research and know what your breeder should be offering their animals. And finally, if you have any doubts, walk away. Unethical breeders cause an immense amount of suffering for the animals in their care as well as the animals that they sell. And we need to end this by supporting only ethical sources of animals. If you don't want to see your pet and hundreds of others live with diseases and deformities, then do your part and help us end the unethical and immoral practice of breeding and selling animals for monetary gain. Give your money to a reputable breeder or rescue and live knowing you helped do something good.